Greg's brother Rodrick is in a rock band called Loded Diaper. They want to become famous by winning the Battle of the Bands, just like their heroes, Chihuahua. We read this book out loud to our kid, and let me tell you, it's pretty hard to say Chihuahua every single time. My wife eventually gave up and started calling them Metallica. It's the same difference, really.
Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review.
The general story of this book is that Rodrick's band keeps trying to become popular. Every time they try something out, they fail in a humorous way. For example, they start by getting cool rock outfits, but mom patches all the holes in their clothes. They try getting a bunch of clothes from a thrift shop, but Bill accidentally picks clothes that his grandma donated. They settle for rock star costumes from the Halloween store, but the costumes don't fit in the back. Next, they take a bunch of band photos, but the only photographers they can find are Mom and the person at the mall who's a baby photographer. All the pictures in this section are hilarious. Next, they enter a contest to win a van, but Bill and Rodrick mess everything up by fighting over who gets to drive it. Then they try to get popular on social media, but since this is the internet we're talking about, the only video people like is the one where Bill gets hurt by accident. This is about 40 pages into the book, and it's when I realized this book is all about Rodrick's band. It's not about Greg. He narrates the story, but for the most part, he's not in the story. Maybe this book should have been narrated by Rodrick instead. The band comes up with silly ideas for music videos, and when they go to a recording studio, they waste all their time fighting over stupid things. And Bill accidentally swallows a guitar pick. I've noticed Bill and Rodrick are the two band members that get talked about the most. Poor Drew and Mackie get left out. The closest Drew gets to a story is when he convinces his brother to play the band's song at a deli. The deli manager immediately fires him. They try to promote their band with diapers and stickers, which just gets them in trouble. They try to do a rooftop performance, which also results in trouble. Their most successful trick is getting an ice cream truck with speakers. That's definitely one way to make strangers hear your music. In one of the longer stories, they get hired to play at a restaurant. They want a porta potty on stage with them, but it's heavy, so they ask Greg to be a roadie and move all the equipment. Hey, nice to see Greg in this book! Rodrick forgets to bring his drumsticks. The only drumsticks nearby are at a kid's pizza place, which has animatronic animals. Greg and Bill sneak in and grab the drumsticks when the animatronic's eyes snap open. It's like a Five Nights at Freddy's nightmare. The good news is they get the drumstick. The bad news is that Mackie has a robotic monkey hand clamped to his leg for the rest of the book. He's too scared to try getting it off by himself. The band gives a terrible performance. Bill forgot all the song lyrics, so he has to look them up on his phone. It's pretty bad, but it ends up not mattering because the restaurant owner wasn't going to pay them anyway. The band meets two members of Chihuahua. One of them makes a living going to conventions and charging tons of money for cheap junk. The other one hides in the remains of his former mansion and only comes out to get delivery food. Loded Diper gets a little more popular, but they run into problems. A rival band named Stank is far more popular than them. Bill gets a girlfriend named Becky, and now all he cares about is love songs. Ew. The worst is when they get an angry letter from a lawyer telling them they have to change the band's name. I feel silly admitting this, but I only just now realized the band spells diaper incorrectly. It's been, 15 years and I haven't noticed that before? The band breaks up. Rodrick gets Greg and some other kids to be replacement band members. Unsurprisingly, they're terrible. Rodrick tries to cover it up by having them lip sync at the Battle of the Bands, but he accidentally uses the wrong recording. So the Battle of the Bands is a huge failure, but everything ends up being sort of okay. when it's revealed the lawyer and a person from the animatronic animal place are actually members of Metallica Chihuahua reunites on stage. They give such an amazing performance, it launches their comeback career, and the failures of Rodrick's band are instantly forgotten. The end. Post-book follow-up. I didn't dislike this book, but I didn't like it as much as the other Wimpy Kid books. That's because Greg is barely in this book. It doesn't feel like a Wimpy Kid book without Greg the Wimpy Kid. After all, he's the only character on the cover. He should play a big role in the story, but he doesn't. Maybe they should have had some kind of subplot or side story with Greg, because the way it is now, this kind of feels like a spin-off novel starring Rodrick. In comparison, Rodrick and his band played a large role in Book 2, Rodrick Rules, but that book had other characters and stories. This book is all Loaded Diaper all the time. It's not bad. There are plenty of good jokes and funny pictures. Bill is pretty hilarious as the comedy relief. I just wish I had some warning that this book was exclusively about Rodrick. You might see it's Rodrick Overload. I give Diary of a Wimpy Kid number 17, Diaper Overload, an 8 out of 10.